The gutter misery. We ignore it, trying not to mind and look the other way if it insistently protests too hard, which only makes it worse. The homeless with his shaky alcoholic stench, the withered prostitute inviting anyone for just a few poor pennies and still gets no customers, the beggar tart with her small crying child in rags, who no one wants to offer anything, since no one feels responsible for her situation, and the child with swollen belly and infected eyes, too large and suffering to even raise compassion, since the misery is too revolting in its ugliness. The leper demonstrating his horrendous mutilations to get money, and the cripple crawling without legs, and twisted limbs on some invalid cart on small wheels, and the thousands who no more can rise, have given up as lost and scrapped, with no more strength, just waiting to get carried out and thrown away. That's our reality in major parts of our world, which we don't want to see or care for, since we have enough of ourselves, which claims all our attention, blinding us to that reality, which in the end will never spare us. Rännstenseländet. Vi förtränger det och låtsas inte om det och ser bort åt annat håll om påträngandet blir för insisterande, varvid det bara växer och blir värre. Uteliggaren med skakig alkisstank och skäggstubb, den bedagade prostituerade som säljer sig för några pennis men ändå blir utan kunder, tiggerskan med barn på armen som är någon vill ge något, då är någon känns vid något ansvar för situationen. Barnet med uppsvällda magen och de stora ögonen, för stora och för uppsvällda för att ens väcka medlidande, då misären är för ful, grotesk, frånstötande och avskyvärd. Den spetelske som demonstrerar sina stympningar för att få pengar, krymplingen som krälar utan ben och armar på en småhjulskärra, och de arma tusentals som aldrig mera orkar resa på sig ens, som givit upp, förlorade och skrotade och väntar på att forslas bort. Det är vår verklighet i större delen av vår värld, som vi gitter se då vi har alldeles tillräckligt av oss själva att bekymra oss med intill fullständig upptagenhet och blindhet för en verklighet som dock i längden aldrig skonar oss. Bitter tears, you killed it all from the beginning without giving it a chance when you deceived me with that wimp who did already have a wife when I found you in bed with him while you ignored my birthday and defended him, your lover, against me as if I was the real presumptuous, outrageous intruder. How could such a shipwreck ever set to sea again? Your other lovers, after his incompetence, were equal failures, each rebelling naturally against your blind lack of empathy and total egocentrism. Is all your beauty just a mask, then, and a luring substitute for your inadequateness, immaturity, your childish limitation to yourself, and lack of any spiritual antennae? No one could have hurt me deeper than you did, since I gave you my love in full, while all you wanted was to toy with sissies, whom you could entirely control and dominate. My only comfort in this mess of an aborted possibility of a sincerity, of love expected at its best, turned out its worst, is that at least I made it in not hurting you. Love's bitter abyss. The well of all your tears of love can never get filled up and never emptied. It will always be enriched by new laments, while all the old ones never can be cancelled or forgotten, keeping that abyss forever constant, without bottom, without end, and flowing always without ever overflowing, never satisfying, never measurable, always black in darkness and annoying you by always, when you look down into it, presenting you with that most hateful mirror of your own deluded face, as if all that well so full of sorrows actually contained was only your own self. But real love is the opposite. Forget yourself, transcend yourself, get out of it and think of someone else, and independent of how many loves you lost and failed you, there will always still be someone left who has deserved your love. Your love. You are the only sun of your life, and only you can make it shine, to give it warmth and tenderness and love. You have no right to crave it from the others, and if you feel sorted out and forlornly cold-shouldered, those cold shoulders are your own, and only you yourself have closed your heart. There is no other world in you but your own heart. The universe is yours if you would open it, your heart, to others, but the flow is always yours, depending only upon you. That is responsibility. If you can take responsibility and give it, then there's nothing wrong with you. And all you have to do is keep on loving tirelessly, going out and actively forever. Din kärlek. Du är den enda solen i ditt liv och bara du kan bringa den att skina för att ge det värme, ömhet, kärlek. Du har ingen rätt att kräva det av andra, och om du upplever dig som mobbad, utesluten, är det du som själv har uteslutit dig och bara du har själv stängt till ditt hjärta. Du har ingen annan egen värld än i ditt hjärta, och allt universum tillhör dig om du kan öppna det för andra. Men dess energi och kraft är bara din, beroende av bara dig. Det är ditt ansvar. Om du kan ta ansvar och ge över det, så är det inget fel på dig. Och allt vad du behöver göra är att bara fortsätta att älska outtröttligt, aktivt, utåtgående för alltid. Bleeding hearts, they are more common than you think. The silent, bleeding, aching hearts of loneliness, too proud to give away their pain by crying, and the more their aching vibrates universally, resounding in the ether of spiritual sensitivity, where they indeed can never be alone, since those who cry in silence without tears, in constant inward drowning in their misery, are that part of the iceberg of all human grief that never can be seen but goes the deeper. We who know their grief can share it in deep sympathy, in silence and respect, and cry and pray with them in humble service at that altar of all tears of blood that never became known. Blödande hjärtan. Det är vanligare än du tror, det är hjärtan som i tystnad blöder i sin verk och ensamhet, för stolta för att visa djupet av sin smärta med att gråta. Men blott desto mer ger verken resonans i universum, i den spirituella känslighetens eter, där det sannerligen aldrig är i fred och ensamhet. Då det som gråter tyst inom sig utan tårar, under ständig drunkning i sin sorgs elände, är den del av mänsklighetens sorgeisberg som ej någonsin är synlig men går desto djupare. Vi som är initierade i denna sorg kan dela den i djupt deltagande och innerligt respektfull sympati för att tyst be och gråta med dem i en altartjänst vid alla de blodstårar som ej någonsin blev kända. Ladakh, safe haven of an earthly paradise, untouched by devastating holocausts that left all Tibet and Kashmir in ruins by political atrocities and civil wars, you stayed up in the clouds, untouchable by earthly powers, in your prayers, monasteries and traditions, intact and unbroken since 1,000 years. And thus you keep on flourishing in cozy comfort, isolated 8 months every year, by severest winters closing up all passes, to let you in peace run festivals all winter, in your harmony and happiness that seems incurable. And yet you are in some ways leader of the world in reasonable ecological economy, for you must, since you are always short of water, but which system of cooperation admirably highly developed to make life in hard conditions possible at all, the whole world needs to learn a lot of. Thrive in peace and arduous hard work, and teach the world about your harmony and virtue, blessed mountain kingdom far away beyond the landscapes of the moon. Love never passes except to remain. Was love then just a passing dream, a perfume of seduction, like a cloud dispersed by any wind, a fragment of a dream to never be remembered, a terrible delusion without reason? But the dream was there and lingers still, and cannot be forgotten or denied, and will continue haunting you as long as you remain alive, since any love, and even the most brief, is true, and nothing can recant it or control it. Love once given will remain with you forever, as a lasting remedy, reward, or nightmare, as you wish, and only you yourself can give it any character. The trial, all those dreadful morning moods. Do I need you? Only positively, since I do not need your problems, your ingratitude and worries, all those morning quarrels, when we both denuded stand stark naked with our souls in constant trial of our lives, our tragedies, mistakes and crimes, our rotten morals and illusions, which are an infinity of dreadfulness, disorganized disorder, an entangled mess of weird confusions, and unsorted heaps of odds and ends, just like in any marriage, although we were never married. Shall we let each other go then, just to try to set us free? Is that possible? That is the real question, and the trial that can never reach a verdict. Purity of heart and love is all that counts in love, and all that makes up love. There is no love where opportunity turns up and fools you into calculation, which immediately corrupts it and turns it away to other forms except sincerity, integrity and honesty, and thus it even may turn into hate, the very opposite of love, which always is one-sided, true and living only by its honesty. If love is true, it's better to abstain from it and banish it forever than risk having it defouled by anything unworthy of its highest level, if it once has been attained. Natural truth. Truth will always out, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. Like a force of nature, it is mercilessly irresistible and absolutely neutral in its callousness, no matter what objections humans might find justified. No matter how dishonourable it could be to ladies, presidents or priests, the nature of the truth is such that nothing can suppress it. And if someone tries, it only will boil over, though more certainly and fatally. The only danger of the truth, in fact, is actually to try to hold it back, like whipping a wild bolting horse, which only the more certainly will throw you off. So naturally it is wiser to pay heed to inconvenient truths, and listen to them carefully and even search for them, than to pretend that they are false or don't exist. However, there is one way to assuage the truth, and that is simply just to make the best of it, accept it, bear with it, and carry on. For instance, if you find your ship abandoned, just sail on without the captain until he returns, and if he doesn't, just sail on, as long as there is any sea to sail on and a boat to save you from it. Bitterness. After tears and rains, the sun will shine anyway and go on shining always, even when clouded. Anything is better than bitterness. If all you can do is but quarrel, then just get lost and forget it. Leave it behind, close that wardrobe. Get down to reality instead and stop worrying, crying and moaning, which never will do any good, but only is a waste of time. Go on and leave the yesterdays behind you, and you will find that all that is ahead of you is just a glorious lot of splendid tomorrows. Sikkim, paradise of dreams, perhaps the last of Shangri-Las. Your pastoral idyllic peace is like a life elixir and a fountain of perpetual love, with your abundance of lush gardens, with the greatest richness in the world of orchids, making actually your entire country like a secret, wonderful botanic garden, in the vastness of which anyone gets lost to never reach the end of it. In these dark winter times it gives immense relief and comfort just to think of your warm paradise, with maybe the most gentle people of all India, indeed a fountain of perpetual youth and of sweet lasting dreams, to always have in store and to return to with fond tenderness and everlasting pleasure. Goa. They say you find the best of Indians there and all the worst of Westerners. Is that because of all those parties going on forever, day and night, the whole year round, and reaching something of a climax around New Year's celebrations? This was actually one of the first established hippie paradises of the 70s, together with Nepal and Bali. All those hippie colonies migrating as the seasons changed, in summer for Nepal, in winter down to Goa, and escaping the monsoons to Bali, and this circulation still goes on. The party never ends, but only changes places, moving even up to Kashmir and Ladakh, occasionally when the Nepal civil war made things uncomfortable there. So welcome to enjoy and join the party. There is now 3 generations of those hippies, still incorrigible as peace and rainbow activists all round the globe and constantly increasing, gaining ground as gradually the world begins to realize that they were always right from the beginning, sacrificing world affairs, careers and vanity for the idealism of living more for love and beauty as the only means to make a future possible. The secret lover. I don't care who steals you from your friends and truest lovers. I don't care who kisses you and fondles you. Your opportunism is your own affair and no concern of mine. And neither is your scheming calculation and ingratitude. We are poor devils living idealistically and are therefore free to use whatever means fate offers us for opportunities. My distant silence shall the more be eloquent and echo universally the obviousness of my unhappy love, for no one loves more honestly than those who suffer for it. Let my ague then be evidence enough that I alone was your supreme and only perfect lover, who expressed it best by suffering in silence. At a loss, the morning after, before the day of tomorrow, I lost my head in sudden gusts of crises, blowing in with climate changes, bursting every sense of credibility and probability, stability and safety, replacing it with bursts of chaos in which all you can do is to cool it down, get drunk, resign, and just forget about the global mess in which the world has lost its head and cannot find it anymore. What shall we do about it? there is only one thing certain about life, and that is that we all must die, and then we'll see what happens. That, in fact, is maybe our lasting hope, that there is always some surprises left